It's a beautiful stadium. Slap bang in the middle of Gosford, Brisbane Water on one side, Mount Elliot's on the other. And Matt Burton hopes to use these surrounds to produce some of his best in the number 7 jersey.
Yeah, really looking forward to it too. Just hope he doesn't sit back on his heels and put those big bombs up. He's a great ball runner, already 10 try assists this season. And also Addo-Carr backing up after Origin. A below par performance from him, and he'd be the first to admit it. Can't wait to get back out there.
The Fox making his second club game since returning from injury. The Roosters, they're the home team today. Plenty of red, white and blue in the grandstands, and plenty of hope in their hearts for a better back end to the season.
I'll tell you one thing I've learnt, and there's Lindsay Collins backing up after a mighty effort. Jumped over his teammate and captain Tedesco in the Origin to score that final try for Queensland. Great to see him backing up. A tough position too in the front row to back up after an Origin. But he's a good player, this fella. He's probably been near on their best. And Joseph Manu, love to see him run the ball. His clash against Burton this afternoon, both great ball runners. Love to see him run the ball. They could decide the decision here this afternoon.
Here's the captain, his club making its 19th appearance at this ground, and they've won their last 3, the last couple by huge margins here against the Raiders and the Dragons. So we are set for takeoff on your Sunday ticket. 3 games this afternoon. This, the first of them, a short kickoff from the Bulldogs, taken by James Tedesco straight away. As we touched on pre-game, the team with the worst completion rate in the league, the Roosters, will look to get through this first set efficiently. Lindsay Collins surrounded by Bulldogs. He stopped 23 metres out of his line. Now the other starting front rower, Waria Hargreaves, extending his stay at Bondi for at least 1 more year. Tedesco, the second touch for James in the opening set, across the face of Waria Hargreaves to Tupanua. So the middle 3 all have a carry in the first set. They arrive at the last, and Luke Keary drives it out towards the eastern side of the ground, where Addo-Carr completes the catch and gallops back beyond his 20-metre line.
Yeah, really interesting for me this afternoon to see Jake Turpin out of dummy half. Just the slickness. I thought they were a little bit clunky there, the Roosters, for the bulk of the season. So let's see if he can cement down a first-grade spot here at the dummy half position for the Roosters. Max
King with the carry, backing up a powerful run from Alamotti. Ryan Sutton in the headgear. Missed the last 4 games, Ryan, with a mystery ailment. Here's Pangai Jr. And the Roosters were around him quickly, affording him no room, no offload. And here's the kick from the youngster, 18-year-old Carl Olawapu, down for a club debutante at the Roosters, Fetalunga or Junior Ponga. Back for Billy Smith. Just his 4th game of the season. So both clubs get through their opening set safely. Not a lot thrown at the opposition as Swali'i goes hard up the middle. Another teenage talent on display today, Waria Hargreaves. Preston it was around his legs. What a season Jacob is having for Canterbury. And now Joey Manu running and almost through, desperately held by Burton in the end. Keary, an attacking kick. Just make sure he measures the height. It's going to come down in the in goal, where it's taken by Addo-Carr, who was under plenty of pressure from Swali'i.
Yeah, didn't really leap for the ball that time, Josh Addo-Carr. Swali'i came through. It was a great chase. What about the take there from Addo-Carr? Looks like he's caught the ball in the field of play.
Yeah, left from the field of play, blocker, caught it in goal, so that counts as taking it in the field of play. You've elected to run it back into the in goal, theoretically, so goal line drop out the right call. Concern for Cameron Ciraldo, his team forced into a goal line drop out. It's short. Ockenbaugh knocked it backwards. It was well played by Jayden Ockenbaugh, but waiting for it, Jake Turpin. Waria Hargreaves. They find themselves in good position early, the Roosters. Now Manu straightens, held by Pangai Jr., Burton and Preston. Turpin again, starting hooker, 4th game in a row. Keary, now it's Billy Smith. Smith trying to get the leg drive going. And they had to number up Canterbury. Ponga long. It's Keary taking the line on and crunch. Sutton on one side. Now the kick through the line. Turpin, it's cleaned up by Hayes Perham, but another goal line dropout forced by the Roosters.
Yeah, it was good play there by Perham to be right on the spot there to cover that kick up. That's another thing that Turpin adds. Little kick out of dummy half there. Everyone on side. The chase came through. But Perham in perfect position. And it's the Bulldogs under the pump early in this game.
His first year at Canterbury, and he's played every game this season with the number 1 on his back, Hayes Perham. An important play there as Burton drives it low and long and finds the sideline. What a result for Canterbury. Matt Burton catching the Roosters unaware.
Well, I think he worked it out pretty quickly. So Leahy was about back on the 20-metre line. Just drove it nice and low and hard and finds touch. That's a great play there from Burton. Heads up play straight away. Can't believe they don't use that little kick off and drop out a little bit more like that.
The 18th man for New South Wales on Wednesday. Doesn't he have some variety in his kicking game? Showing us another string to the bow right there. Canterbury 20 out early in the set. Good afternoon again, Darcy McDonald's.
Good afternoon, Matt, Steve and everyone tuning in. It's a little grey at Industry Group Stadium, but despite a small sprinkle about half an hour ago, the rain has held off. Now we're treated to 2 NRL debuts and 1 club debut today. All 3 players have been standouts in New South Wales Cup this season and been knocking on the door of a call-up for quite some time. I can tell you Sandon Smith and Carlo Rajab have big support crews here today.
Indeed they do. We've bumped into a few of them already. Darcy, thank you for that. A penalty to the Bulldogs while you were speaking. You mentioned the 2 debutants. We've already touched on Junior Palmer, the former Wests Tiger, on club debut as this left side winger for the Roosters. So good ball here for Canterbury. Another carry from Ryan Sutton, the former Raider. Missed the last month and racing up quickly. Great contact coming from Egan Butcher. No room at all for Max King. A little juggle from Olawapu, who himself has come through the New South Wales Cup to start the season, forced his way into first grade, and now forces his way to a penalty. Tap and go, Jake Averillo. He and Paul Alamotti every game this season in the centres for the Dogs. King unable to twist clear of the contact that came primarily from Turpin. Olawapu again, cut out ball, and this time Averillo slips. Unused on his outside, Blake Wilson. It's a really young Canterbury backline. Burton, one of the veterans. So Canterbury on the attack here from 10 outs. Davida Pangai Jr. tries to wind up. Held by Nat Butcher and Maria Hargreaves. Burton to the line. Now Olawapu. Averillo couldn't position Wilson, but the ball spills out. It's picked up by the winger. He succumbs in the tackle, and they'll hand it over here.
Yeah, it would have been better off to pass the ball on the outside there. Averillo. They turned the ball over anyway. And they would have gotten a little bit closer to that try line that time. We see the Roosters work the ball off their own line.
And some line speed with that last play by Canterbury, again led by Reid Marnie. These teams haven't met for more than a year. It was round 8 last year where Canterbury shot the Roosters 16-12. In recent times, though, this matchup dominated by the Sydney Roosters, by Trent Robinson's men. Keary kicking just inside his 30. Had the right sort of angle on it, but covering it quickly. Hayes Perham. There's support infield if he needs it, but the fullback goes it alone.
I think that's a little bit of a win there for the Doggies. Just a lot of players walking back, trying to get behind the ball here. Only early in the game, but to the 40-metre line now.
Trent Robinson looking on from above Industry Group Stadium. Here's Jade Knockenbore. Must seem an eternity ago that his men lost to St George Illawarra. Their third straight defeat heading into the bye, and then this game against Canterbury. Pangai Jr. 10 metres into Roosters territory now. King doesn't think about passing. Takes the tackle from Jake Turpin. It's tackle 5. Burton waits on the left, gets it now and hoists it back towards the right side, out towards Ponga. It's pushed by Avarillo forward, I think you'll find. And that's the way Ashley Klein calls it.
I think he's a pretty good target in the middle third of the field that time. Just kicked the ball back to the right. Ockenball, we know what a great chaser he is, and very good under the high ball. Didn't compete that time for the football. A little bit different starting in games now in the back row.
Ponga, you heard the contact from Jaden Ockenball. He spent most of his career as a winger, now being used by Cameron Serraldo as an edge forward. Keary to the line, passing right on top of the defence. Well taken by Egan Butcher. Tedesco scampers short side, gets away from a couple, but not Reid Marnie holding onto his ankles. Keary again. Now Joey Manu, middle of the ground. Couldn't quite weave his way through the defence. Keary goes to the air again, kicking out towards Addo-Carr. Above them all, Josh Addo-Carr. Good in the air. And Canterbury also off a bye, like the Roosters. Before that, coming from 14-0 down to beat Gold Coast.
Well, he's got to his assignment well, hasn't he, Addo-Carr? And then gets it, reloads and takes the ball up there. Been put under pressure early in this game. A couple of good takes. Hand on the ball here. We've seen that a couple of times from the Roosters here. That time it was Manu. Addo-Carr get up to play the ball, hand on the football, a penalty.
This will be enjoyable for Canterbury. They're conceding the most penalties in the league this season. They've got 3-0 to open this game.
Push back, Corey!
I had to double check the numbers when I looked at Canterbury's opponents today. The Roosters' worst completions in the league, fewest tries, fewest points blocker. But their coach says, we've rested after the Dragons, we've gone into camp and simply had the attitude, we come to Gosford wanting to play our best footy.
It's amazing when you've got blokes like Tedesco and Manu and Luke Keary and all those sort of guys that, with attacking brilliance. You see they're down the bottom at the moment.
Canterbury with the same attitude though, 5-7 as they enter the back half of their season. Here's Marnie for Burton. King has barely missed a game, just the one in fact since joining Canterbury from Melbourne. Oluwapu with those fast feet quickly, he finds Ockenball. And they're inside the red zone again, the attacking 20. As Burton put that on the boot, there was a ricochet off the Roosters, now it's scooped up, play on the call, Tevita Pangai Jr. feasts on the scrappy ball, picks it up skillfully, races in, first blood, Bulldogs.
Yeah, a ricochet, I'm glad you mentioned that, the skill of Tevita Pangai Jr. to scoop that football up at pace is unbelievable. The kick, the ricochet, the knockback, the scoop, look at that. For a big man like that to scoop up the ball and score.
Ryan Sutton blocker, does he get a touch on the ricochet?
Well, if he does it go back? If it hits his arm and go back, look at that.
Outstanding skill, isn't it? Tevita Pangai Jr., a starter this afternoon, busy early, maybe a little fatigued, but he looks like he could have done that with his eyes shut. So effortless was the pickup.
Well, they need a little bit of luck to go their way to get the opening try if they do award it. The try has been awarded. Looks like Burton is going to have a shot at goal here. Well, the conversion anyway. What a try. Skill.
So Matt Burton, if he starts his approach here and kicks the goal, it means it's try confirmed. And it is confirmed. No touch from Ryan Sutton. A beautiful scoop from Pangai Jr. And Matt Burton makes it 6-0.
Well, this is a big game for Tavita Pangai Jr. He walked away from his Origin debut a little disappointed with some costly errors he made. New South Wales are expected to make changes ahead of game 2, and Pangai Jr. hopes he's not on the chopping block. He wants a second chance, and the only way to get one is to deliver for the Bulldogs, and he's done that early.
Steve Roach, you've been to that arena. You've played the same position that Pangai Jr. has and does. Do you keep him there for game 2 and say, play yourself out of this hole with the Blues?
Yeah, I think he needs to have a big game here this afternoon to cement his spot, but I wouldn't be dropping him. What you got to do is think about why you put him there in the first place. Not that you don't drop blokes after one.
Look at that, he's a willing returner of the football there. Copped a belting, got the offload away. I don't know whether Cameron Ciraldo wants pushed passes like that from Tavita Pangai Jr.
Yeah, I think especially in his own half. Just wait till you get up over the halfway line. Here's the collision there. It was always going to be on.
We spoke about it, didn't we? Pangai Jr. running it, Waria Hargreaves and Collins. Now Addo Carr is running it to Desco. Feeding Marnie, and he's away. Reed Marnie, arm in the air. All the way towards Brisbane Water. Beautiful from the Bulldogs. What a start by Canterbury.
Oh, well, back-to-back tries to the Bulldogs, and what a competitor he is. Reed Marnie sniffing around the middle. Addo Carr with the break. Just slowed down. Tedesco came across, and Marnie gets the footy and sprints away. Don't know if the coach will be too happy about him celebrating 20 metres out, but anyway, what a try. Then look where he started there, Marnie. Good second man play, beautiful pass there. Geez, he's improved that back rower, Preston. Addo Carr on the fly, pass back on the inside. The arm goes up, and Marnie scores. Back-to-back tries for the Bulldogs.
He had some company on the celebration front. Addo Carr right with him. It's as if they were off for a swim on a summer day, running towards the water. This will be great. Look at these shots.
Well, isn't it amazing to watch the fans? If you have a look at the fans there, as soon as Addo Carr got the ball in the clear, everyone stood as one. You know something's going to happen when he gets that clear space. And well done there from Marnie. Geez, a competitor, this bloke. And the Dogs are in again.
Ominous signs for Trent Robinson and the Roosters. 2 tries to 0. Both scored virtually in front. It's about to be 12-0. And look at Reed Marnie. One of the many high-profile arrivals at Canterbury over the last couple of years. And the scoreboard reads 12-blot Bulldogs.
He's all heart, Reed Marnie. He's a passionate player and leads his Bulldogs side by example. Up until a HIA in the Dogs' last game, he had played every minute of the season. And besides averaging 39 tackles a game, he sits second in the team in try assists and leads the competition with 40 20s. Now he gets a well-deserved try, his first since round 1.
This time last year, a man who started the raid, Jacob Preston, you touched on him, Steve Roach. He was playing with Norths in the New South Wales Cup. He comes to Canterbury, was identified pre-season as a player to watch by Phil Gould, and he's played every game since. He has to be a candidate for Rookie of the Year, but we'll come back to that in a moment as we have a look at Ryan Sutton bringing the kickoff forward. Preston waits to Canterbury's left, and that's the way they go.
You could see Reed Marnie after that try into his troops. Let's keep playing direct. Let's try and go through the middle of this Roosters defence. Just keep at it.
Pangai Jr. No thought of passing on that occasion. Marnie trying to drift across the ground and link up with Preston. Here's Hayes Perham out of dummy half. He takes tackle 5 and it goes to Burton. Burton, a big torpedo high above Gosford. Out towards Ponga, who makes the take, gets away from the chase from Avarillo and succumbs to Jade Knockenball. It's only a handful of Roosters in behind the ball. And that run is required after Matt Burton got a beauty away.
Gee, it's amazing the energy you find when you lead 12 points to 0. Look at the Dogs, they're up and about, aren't they? Led by Reed Marnie. He's got great line speed. He leads the way here for the Dogs.
Tupanua's run backed up now by Keary. Sliding through. Tedesco on the inside. Shut the gate. He's gone. Tedesco in. There's an answering try from the Roosters. Plenty of points early in this one.
Gee, we've got some gifted players in this side. What a hit back here from the Roosters. The more experienced Luke Keary. 6 try assists, that makes it 7. Just straight through, some feeble attempt at tackling. Their defence has been good early. Just overread, got Byrne on the outside, the big front rower there. Max King, I think it was. Tedesco, once he got the ball in hand, it's all over. Sprints away, one line break, and they're straight through. That was great of him to identify there. Max King in the defensive line, just got a little bit slow to get across. Just have a look at that, just throws a dummy. King can't get there, straight through Keary. And look at Tedesco.
I know you're itching to leap to the defence of the man they call Teddy after Wednesday night.
I'll tell you one thing I've learnt, never knock a champion. This bloke is a champion. I can't believe all the people that have got on board and bagging him. Sure, wasn't his best Origin game, but he's the skipper. I'm sure he'll be there in game 2.
It was game number 20. Think back to the first 19 and what he's done along the way. He's got a great record, as you just saw on screen, playing against the Bulldogs. Scoring in 4 straight games against Canterbury. And now 12 tries in 10 games against the Dogs. His best strike rate against any opponent. James Tedesco needing only 19 minutes to light up Industry Group Stadium. Swaliti kicks the extras, and now it's 12 points to 6. Look at it again, Keary, the way he gets through the line, you identified it. They've defended with some venom early on, Canterbury, but right there it was feeble, it must be said.
Well, he can't afford to be running through your ruck like that. The message has got to go out. Every time Keary goes to the line, he must be severely dealt with, otherwise that's what'll happen. The contact on him has got to be so strong.
High kick-off down to Keary, bringing Lindsay Collins onto the ball. Monday night on face-to-face, straight after 360 blocker. We sit down with Jared Croker before game 300 on Friday night. It'll be a fantastic chat with a man who's worked so hard to get to that milestone. You'll see it 6 p.m. Eastern next Friday, only on Fox League. Jared's 300th. Tomorrow he's on face-to-face, and here's a penalty to the Roosters.
We've seen a few stripping penalties in this game so far. I think it's Preston this time. Hargreaves, just a hand on the ball. There it is. Well, gee, I don't know. It was a pretty loose carry. I know there was some stripping action there, but pretty loose. Anyway, the Roosters get away with it.
Captain's challenge available. They elected not to use it. And the replay suggests maybe it was worth revision.
And let's see if the Tedesco's try has really kick-started the attack here from the Roosters.
Well, Rhea Hargreaves with the first carry yet again. And now Collins backing him up. 10 out. Tupanua finds Keary. The straight run here. Took a fantastic tackle from Marnie to stop Egan Butcher. Now the shift for Manu. Geez, Egan Butcher looked like he was going to power in before Canterbury chopped him down on the spot. Now reaching, Turpin's just short. Preston comes down on top of him to make sure of it. Out of dummy half, Manu digs for the line. And he's forced back. It's Preston again defensively.
And look who's underneath there, Marnie, again, after he made that beautiful tackle on Ethan Butcher. It was a great tackle. This is a tough run now too for the Bulldogs off their own goal line. They're under the pump. Got to try and find the energy to get up over that 20 here.
Hard work here for Canterbury. Coming off their own line. Look at the contact from Tupanua on Corey Waddell, who was brought off the bench today. A kick early in the set, out towards the sideline. Tedesco is there just. But he's trapped by a good chase. Addo Carr around the ankles. A couple of New South Wales teammates head-to-head right there. Down the short side. Good metres taken by Corey Allen.
Yeah, that was clever play by Corey Allen because Addo Carr had been caught at marker. He went straight up the blind side where he should have been defending.
Butcher finds himself into dummy half. Dupanua. Just his 6th game back from injury. Sadili Dupanua. Doria Hargreaves to Keary, quick hands, Manu, Swaliti, outside now for Allen down the sideline. Off Canterbury's lead, still there. Tedesco gets a double. They're back on level terms. Allen's kicking, Tedesco finishing, and now the Roosters go back to back.
Gee, isn't there some speed out there from both sides? Tedesco goes back-to-back tries for the Roosters. They've started to mount a little bit of pressure too. They're 9 from 9 to start this game. The Dogs haven't been too shabby themselves, but this is classic footy. Great to watch. Swalihi goes through. It's a great pass. Allen with a kick back in field. Teddy just checks himself to keep on side. Ockenball can't go with him. And Tedesco scores his 2nd.
This fantastic record against Canterbury just continues to improve. And Corey Allen, the former Bulldog, playing his hand perfectly, only played 3 games last year for Canterbury. Corey, this is game number 6 since coming into the Roosters lineup this season, and even the bounce was right.
We've got to make mention too of the kick back in field there at full tilt from Corey Allen. Great to watch. Ockenball couldn't close it off. Teddy a little bit too quick for him.
So he played his 20th Origin during the week. Now he has his 20th NRL try-scoring double.
What a way to answer the critics.
Swaliti locks us up 12 on 12.
You just know that James Tedesco was going to be a man on a mission today. He's been criticised since New South Wales' loss on Wednesday, and he's the first to admit he's been well below his usual high standards this season. He admitted this is probably the most challenging time of his career. He needs to not only lead his club back to form, but also his state, and he's ticking that first one off with 2 tries in 5 minutes.
A couple of teams that have had their struggles with completions. Darcy at 100% so far. Canterbury getting through all 11. The Roosters through all 9. It was heavily skewed in favour of Canterbury after 10 minutes, but now the stats are balanced. As Collins opens the set. Ponga off his wing. Cut-out ball for Waria Hargreaves. With a bit of width, now the offload. And Tedesco dancing around through the middle of the ground. Couldn't get away from Jacob Preston. A name we'll call often for his defensive efforts today.
They're just doing things a little bit quicker now, aren't they, than the Bulldogs, the Roosters. Quick play the balls. Really putting the Doggies' defence under all sorts of pressure.
Tedesco hits Tupanua, who had the upper body through the line. Couldn't find a support player. Last play, Keary again, kicking out towards Addo Carr. Doesn't have to jump. There were a couple of players colliding in front of him. No infringement, says the referee. Ashley Klein, the man in charge. And Canterbury come away from their 10-metre line. Oh, big contact on Blake Wilson. Illegal contact, says the referee.
It looked like Wilson was just falling. I know not allowed to hit him high like that, but Tupanu's defence, look, just falling down. Jeez, it's a nice collision out there, but great technique. I think you'll find, it's on report, I think you'll find Allen was falling a little bit there, but anyway, we play on.
I wondered whether it was shoulder charge or high contact. The referee calling high contact on the dropping Canterbury winger, Blake Wilson, game number 3. Achieved his lifelong goal, he said, when he made a debut against the Warriors. Backed it up off the bench against Gold Coast, and now Canterbury are upended in the tackle. Waria Hargreaves taking a long, hard look at Harrison Edwards. King couldn't spin away from the shoulder of Lindsay Collins. 14 minutes left, 2 tries each. Alamotti with the offload. Perham, second phase. Now Waddell, wrapped up by JWH as Angus Crichton prepares to enter proceedings. Perham, away from Egan Butcher. In fact, the Butcher brothers combined to bring him down in the end. Last play, Canterbury. Burton, end over end, high, out towards the club debutant winger, Ponga, who gets the grab and gets back to ground safely.
Well, that's what he gets paid to do. And the wingers are back 3 now. You're in first grade, you're going to be put under plenty of pressure. What a take it was from Ponga.
Tough run from Billy Smith, backed up by the catcher Ponga here. Crichton out there for his first carry of the afternoon. Game 6 of his comeback. Keary just inside the 40, looking for a 40-20. Just didn't have the bounce he needed. Perham on top of it quickly. Had it skidded on and away from the fullback. That was a big show of a 40-20.
It didn't seem like he put a real lot into it, just sort of stabbed at the ball there. He knew exactly what he was doing, Keary.
He has 1 already this season.
I think they might be losing a little bit of the battle here, the Bulldogs. Had to do a lot of defence in the last 15 minutes. Going to fight their way back in. I know it's 12 all, but...
Oh, a diving take.
They look a little bit below par for mine.
That was tough on Corey Waddell. Ankle height way out in front of him. He did very well in the end. So last play, Burton, this time under a bit more pressure, had to hurry the kick, and it floats down again towards Ponga, and he skids into Jake Averillo's. And he's lost the ball. Averillo's forced an error here. Junior Ponga, blemish-free so far.
In the middle, guys.
And there's the first incompletion of the afternoon.
Yeah, and that's the sort of play that you want now, the Bulldogs. Let's see how enthusiastic they are to get to the scrum and get on with the game now. About 25 metres out. This might be the call they need just before half-time. Well, still 11 minutes to go before half-time, but it's a great position here for them now.
Perfectly placed here, Canterbury. Alamotti. He goes to Perham. Addo-Carr pulls up and sends a sweeping pass back towards the middle of the ground to Preston. Put in a bear hug by Matt Lodge. Burton. And now powering forward. It's Edwards again. Just his 9th first grade game, Harrison Edwards. Marnie shows it twice, goes long. Almost fooled his centre, Alamotti, who swats away from a couple of defenders and now succumbs. 3 plays down. Waddell with a clap of the hands, he gets the ball. Marnie, and now Perham. Good kick into the in goal, well weighted. And they have to dive at it desperately. Swali'i swats it away from the in goal. So now Canterbury, their first goal line drop out of the afternoon.
Yeah, not a bad ploy there, kicking in behind when we see the defensive line up. Not a bad option. They get the desired result too. They get the football back. Little kick in behind early in the tackle count. Put the Roosters under pressure.
Nice touch, wasn't it, from Perham. Tedesco with a wobbly old goal line dropout. It clean bowls Carl Olawapu, who cleans up and goes to Waddell. So another attacking set for Canterbury. Having conceded the last 2 tries and been forced to do a lot of defending. They fall straight into sync here as Curtis Moran almost lost the ball off his hip. Marnie, Waddell. Edwards is wrapped up by Turpin. Waddell for Burton, and here's Ockenbaugh. Been effective in that position over the last few weeks. Penalty to the Roosters. Incorrect play of the ball.
Yeah, no attempt to get to his feet there, Ockenbaugh. It was a good run. Took away all the good work that he'd done there. How relieving is that for the Roosters?
Penalties while in attack inside your opposition 10, Stephen. They must be excruciating for a coach.
Well, I think he nearly fall off the grandstand there, the coach. Cameron Cialdo.
Interesting observation from the Fox Sports lab this week as Lodge brings the Roosters forward. Canterbury have failed to score more than 16 points in their last 7 games against the Roosters. They flew out of the blocks today. 12-0 leaders early, looking like they'd cruise past 16. Now, all of a sudden, it's a little while away. And they're driven backwards, the Roosters. Ball in possession. Strong defence, again involving Preston and Waddell. Now Crichton putting Tedesco under pressure. The fullback did well to get it before the defence arrived. Lodge, flick offload, Tedesco waiting for it, as he so often is. The last play will come 10 metres into Canterbury's half. Keary, this time heading towards the other side of the ground where Blake Wilson is waiting. Wilson gets away from one, good return out of his 20. The Noosa Pirate. He had a picture of himself as a kid with Moses Mbai, another Pirate, and he followed Moses all the way to the NRL. Moran. Edwards. Good crowd in on a Sunday afternoon for the first of 3 games you'll see on Fox League. After this one, we're off to Townsville, then back to Penrith for the 3rd game this afternoon. Burton to Preston, and now the kick from Alamotti. Good bounce for Tedesco, who's in perfect position to shut it down.
There's a good chase through there from the Doggies. They've got to come away with something a little bit better than that. Grab a kick there, Tedesco, right on point. Just bounced straight up into his arms.
Swali'i looking for a carry.
Gee, he's been strong this afternoon. Swali'i. He has got in and got himself involved, and he's run hard too. It's been missing for the last few weeks.
Crichton. He's moved from the left to the right. Joseph Swali'i, after being on the right last year, offload from Crichton. Well picked up. They're finding the mark, the passes this afternoon, certainly over the last few minutes for the Roosters. And now Turpin, out of dummy half, splitting the men at the back for Canterbury. Perham calling Addo Carr back, but he keeps possession and takes the tackle.
He just adds that little bit of experience, doesn't he, coming off the bench in Angus Crichton. Marnie, I think he might find his way to the HIA there.
You mentioned the aggression in the carries from Swali'i. Well, Reid Marnie knows all about that. That will be reviewed by the doctor in the bunker. Here is the decision.
Leave the field for a head injury assessment.
You're off, son.
Blake, play the ball.
He's so courageous the way he gets himself in front of big men.
Just had his head on the wrong side, and as a result, wore the brunt of the force in the Swali'i run.
He might have banged it pretty heavily on the ground too. A little bit of a whiplash action there. They look for that.
Here's Moran. So Tavita Pangai Jr. heads back out while Reid Marnie goes for a 15-minute assessment. Waddell to Burton. Oluwapu had the pass knocked down. It wasn't able to be picked up quickly by Ponga.
On the line,
Otherwise,
guys.
that would have been interesting.
Come in the middle, shot clock on.
They're just trying to chance their hand a little bit there, the Dogs, long before half-time.
Off Billy Smith, so Canterbury keep the ball, and the pickup from Junior Ponga. becomes insignificant then. He's always going to be called back. Harrison Edwards just locking the scrum after a discussion with Oluwapu. Now the pass for Alamotti. Talking about powerful centres, Paul Alamotti, just 19 years of age, hasn't he given us some carries this season? One of so many Canterbury juniors in this lineup. We've touched on that previously this season. Edwards a dummy half, finding Moran. Now Waddell, quick hands from Burton, and Alamotti, he tried to push it on, pushed it forward. And the attack breaks down.
Yeah, it's good defence there. Not ball watching there, just getting up in the face of the Bulldogs, trying to shift the ball, but not passive defence. Just watch how they get up in the line here to make the tackle. One man goes in, they all follow in. That's great defence there from the Roosters. Fatigue will be starting to set in now, but that's a big play from them.
As this scrum packs, let's go down to Darcy.
Reed Marnie's been deemed to be displaying Category 2 concussion symptoms, so he's still a chance of returning to this game.
Thank you, Darcy. He has that 15-minute window to prove that he's A-OK to return. We'll bring you that news as soon as the decision comes through. Egan Butcher for Crichton. Pangai Jr. in to make the tackle, along with Edwards and Preston. Lodge, straight and hard. Greeted by Corey Waddell. Now, out there in jumper 15, Nathan Brown. His second game as a Rooster. Club debut coming against the Dragons a fortnight ago. Tedesco slipping. That's an easy tackle for Jacob Preston. Keary measures the kick again. And Perham, with no one around him, makes the catch. So final few minutes of the first half. The tries coming in the 12th minute to Pangai Jr., the 15th to Reed Marnie. So they led 12-0 after 16 minutes, the Bulldogs. Tedesco, a double in the 18th and 23rd minutes as the Roosters locked it up.
Yeah, they look the most likely, the Roosters. They've done well, the Dogs, to hang right in here. Got a lot of experienced players in that Roosters side, but they've defended pretty well, the Dogs.
Perham. It's Canterbury's 11th visit to Gosford. They've won 7 of the 10 previously. Good record here as Burton gets the kick away. It bounces kindly for Billy Smith, like he had a magnet for it, and offloads for Ponga. So a few metres into Canterbury's half to start the set. Egan Butcher with a yardage run. Straight and hard. Here's Crichton looking to link up. Didn't find a target, but finds the middle of the ground. As the sun peeks through at Gosford this Sunday afternoon. Brown for Lodge. 2 plays left. Nathan Brown spots a hole, runs at it. Closed by Ockenbaugh and Edwards. Manu shapes to kick. Tedesco gets a first half treble. Count them, Teddy. 1, 2, 3 in the first 40.
I reckon they're going to have a look at an obstruction here. They've got no try.
Obstruction, looking at Matt Burton being impeded.
So Ash Klein straight away had his doubts and sends it to the bunker for review. It's Nat Butcher on the outside.
Just looking at Nat Butcher's run. He runs to the outside shoulder of Matt Burton and makes contact.
Yeah, there'll be no try.
James Tedesco then runs through the hole that's created by the obstruction. We have a decision.
So that's a really easy one for Matt Noyen in the bunker.
Yeah, Burton did well to hold his ground there. Wins the penalty there for the Dogs.
Okay, guys.
So obstruction against the Roosters, wipes the try off, back to 2 for James Tedesco. And Canterbury have 1 minute and 11 seconds to go 70 metres.
Gee, it's been a quality game of football, hasn't it? Just the handling. Afternoon football, Sunny afternoon, dry track. Both sides have handled the ball really well.
Yeah, that from two teams who have had their struggles in the first half of the season. The Roosters did well to hold their nerve after our blistering start by the Bulldogs. They're in a mood early, posted 2 tries, had their fans into the contest, but the Roosters wouldn't go away and looked like going to the break all square. 30 seconds left. 2 plays for Canterbury. Pungai Jr. Is it a Burton bomb? A special to finish the half. Here's Matt Burton. No, it might be a 2-point field goal, but it flies away from the mark, skewing off the boot. The right sort of idea in the dying seconds, but he didn't get it as cleanly as he would have liked.
Yeah, effort play there from Nathan Brown. He put the pressure on. Just went to the left of the upright.
Yeah, players in front.
So halftime sounds 12 on 12. 2 tries each. Pungai Jr. and Marnie for the Bulldogs. A Tedesco double that almost became a hat-trick in the first half. This is the first premiership game in Gosford this season. The New South Wales Central Coast, as the sun shines, proof we live in the best country in the world. What a ground it is, Industry Group Stadium. But who is going to emerge with the precious premiership points? The Roosters on the live ladder in 10th, the Bulldogs below them, and both need to build on their tally of 5 wins so far. Who's going to get a 6th after the next 40 minutes? First carry of the second half to a man who dominated the first, Davida Pungai Jr. in a real rumble with the likes of Waria Hargreaves and Lindsay Collins. Satili Tupanua, as you saw at halftime, involved in a big collision with Blake Wilson. He went on reports. Debate about whether he should have stayed on the ground or been sin-binned. And now Moran brings some energy to the carry. Wrapped up by Nathan Brown. Pungai Jr. back for his fullback, Hayes Perham. A really bright afternoon now on the New South Wales Central Coast. Here's Oluwapu kicking across the ground. In the end, it floats more straight than sideways, down to James Tedesco. And Tedesco stopped right on the 30-metre line.
You just like to see him find a pass here, James Tedesco. Just give the men on the outside a little bit of an opportunity. But his energy's been unbelievable in this game so far.
Crichton creative since coming off the bench midway through that first half. Lodge after metres here. The 4th run of the set. Turpin to Keary. A great conductor in the first half, and now Tedesco just sliding into the back line and over the sideline. A penalty, though, goes to the Roosters.
Well, that's an ordinary penalty there. Blake Wilson, the tackle had already been made. Tedesco's on the ground. Surely you know you don't go on with it there. That's just a gift now, 20 metres out. Give him the ball back now. Here come the Roosters early in the second half.
Bit of exuberance from Canterbury that costs them. What price will they pay, though, in the set? After the penalty, it's been put down by Nathan Brown. He didn't expect it. It landed in his lap, and the hands were nowhere to be seen.
Well, here's the tackle now. The tackle, he's on the ground. They just try to go on with it. And here's the mistakes. Paul, you just got to always expect the ball. The pass wasn't that bad there from dummy half from Turpin, but wasn't ready for the football that time, Nathan Brown.
Communication breakdown to frustrate that man. I wonder what he said at half-time. Down to you, Darcy McDonald.
Well, Trent Robinson kept it pretty simply, said that the Roosters need to improve.
Hang on a second. Addo Carr is lighting Gosford up for the second time today. He burns Joseph Swaley. He dives into the in goal. The Dogs go the length to start the second half like they did the first. Is there a better side in rugby league than the Fox at full flight?
Yeah, on the back of an error there, and it was a simple error. Turpin's dummy half pass to Nathan Brown, and then the Fox lights up. The second man play, some good ball movement here. You talk about getting burnt. Gee, I've seen him burn plenty of blokes out on the outside. Swaley can't make the tackle. The Fox, once he's in open ground, is there a better sight in rugby league than to see the Fox streaming up the sideline? Look at that for a great shot. Look at that for determination. Away he goes, the Fox. What a legend. What a try. And watch him celebrate the try early in the second half for the Dogs. First time they've had the ball.
Well, Graham Bailey's on that camera and he has captured it brilliantly, as he's done many a time over the years at Okar. Bursting away from Joseph Swali'i, just a picture of composure, of athleticism and sport at its brilliant broadcasting best.
Well, he knows straight away, once he gets the ball in open space like that, and the ability to use his speed to get on outside of men. Well, he's no slouch. Swali'i, he just beat him all hands up, got on his outside and away he went. You're right, Matty, the camera work is unbelievable. What about that for a shot? Sit back and enjoy an athlete like Adokar.
Burton to add the extras, which he does, so Canterbury go back out in front. And look at it again and enjoy. You're up close and personal with Adokar, only momentarily though. You blink and he's gone.
Oh, it's unbelievable, isn't it? Look at that. Look at that stride.
Missed 5 games, rounds 7 through 11 with an ankle injury. Didn't the game. And the Bulldogs miss him. 1 game back into Origin. And here he is in Gosford after that. So Pangai Jr. returns. Let's hope that Josh Adokar isn't so rude as to interrupt Darcy McDonald again.
Well, Trent Robinson won't be happy with that. He kept it pretty simple at halftime. He said the Roosters just simply need to improve their defence, but also show more power with the ball. As for the Bulldogs, Cameron Ciraldo, who'll be thrilled with that start. He wanted to ask more questions in attack. He did have a little bit of concern with their 5th tackle options and wants to see more line speed. And as for Reid Marnie, confirmation he has failed his HIA and won't return.
Okay, thank you, Darcy. He's Burton trying to sweet step his way through the line. That's a big blow for Canterbury without their starting hooker for the second half. Failing his HIA, Jaden Ockenbaugh now gets the ball away on the ground, picked up, and they're calling for it out here on the left. Instead, it's taken by Corey Waddell, who will settle and take the 5th tackle. Edwards goes to Olawapu, and he kicks through the air. Ockenbaugh makes a contest of it. Dived on by Jake Averillo, but it's knocked on by Ockenbaugh.
Knocked on by Jaden.
There's some momentum to Canterbury. There's some energy in them all of a sudden. Ockenbaugh, look at the knock on here.
Gee, they're up and about, aren't they? The Bulldogs. It's now the Roosters have got to respond. Caught on their own line. Bulldogs are up and about. Ockenbaugh still on the ground.
All right, we're going to play on. Get in the hands of the trainer. Use your foot straight.
I reckon the coach will be saying, come on, son, get up. Back in the play. You're playing in the back row now. You can't be going down every 5 minutes.
Plenty of places to look at the moment. Ockenbaugh injured, Billy Smith being tended to, and as Darcy McDonald reported, no Reid Marnie, who has failed his HIA. How significant is that, Stephen, for Cameron Ciraldo and for his Canterbury Bulldogs?
Yeah, it's good for the Bulldogs too, to start the second half with so much energy, because that's what Reid Marnie provides. Unfortunate for them, they're going to have to do it without him. They've had a great start to the second half here.
Nathan Brown ball playing in the middle of the ground, going to Egan Butcher. Here's Keary inside the 40. Won't go near the sideline. In fact, it floats down to Adokar on the full. Careful, Roosters. Here comes the Fox again. He just steps his way into the central corridor. Now Wilson. Edwards goes to Averillo. So was it Harrison Edwards filling dummy half duties? He's a big dummy half. The interchange forward. Now they sweep across the ground. Here's Alamotti. Hard into Swali'i. Perrin, the man who sparked the Addo-Carr runaway try. Moran gets it away. Edwards again. Last play from 18 metres out. It's Carl Olawapu kicking, just lobbing it down. Oh, Ponga in the air, comes down on his back/side. And the penalty goes straight to the home team today, the Sydney Roosters in Gosford.
Gee, did well to take this one. Hockenball got impeded on the way through there, I thought. It's got to take the wind out of you, land on your back like that.
Tunnelling, the description, as Averillo gets in underneath the legs of Junior Ponga, denying him the chance to land safely, and it's a heavy landing ultimately.
Yeah, I think he whacked his head on the ground there too. Honestly, it amazed me how courageous these wingers are. Take the ball like that, plenty of traffic coming their way. It's a great take.
That's a big catch, isn't it? By a man on club debut, the 27-year-old. Officially Rooster 1217. I've had a few players since 1908, the Roosters. Just the 4 games across 2 seasons as a Tiger before heading across town to Bondi. Lodge, another former Tiger, looking for a quick play the ball.
And there's another former Tiger, Brown.
And Reid Marnie sitting beside another one. Josh Reynolds, the replacement player today.
Oh, dear, we're littered in the competition.
So Josh Reynolds, a replacement player, because Khaled Rajab is sitting nervously on the bench, wondering when, if he'll make his debut here this afternoon. Here's a run from Manu, determined, that finishes at Canterbury's 20-metre line. Nat Butcher to Keary, kicking across the ground, forcing Wilson to look into the sun. It's taken by Billy Smith, men on the outside, knocked on by Ponga. The line calling his name. He only had to catch the ball, but the pass was low and in front and not taken.
Yeah, the idea was right there by Billy Smith. To get the ball away, they had the numbers, the overlap. The pass didn't go. Hockenball there right on the spot there for the Bulldogs to close it off, but the pass was pretty poor. I think his eyes lit up when he saw the goal line in front of him.
Big contact from Nat Butcher, Nathan Brown coming in on Moran. Edwards for Waddell.
Just want to see Burton run the ball a little bit. One run for 10 metres. It was only in the second half there, just a few minutes ago, with a bit of a probing run. Just want to see him run the ball, take the line on. If the Bulldogs are to get home, it's going to be on the back of him.
There's another carry by Moran there to set up the final play in the set via the boot of Olawapu. Across the ground to Corey Allen, the former Bulldog. And he evaded some sort of missile that flashed past him.
He plays above his weight too, doesn't he, Moran? Only a little fella out there, pretty stocky sort of build, but he's taken the Roosters on.
Good missile to avoid. Look at Tavita Pangai Jr. That's the end of his run there. Corey did well to evade him. Now Tedesco through the middle of them. Now he gets the ball away. Put the glasses down. Racing away to score the try on club debut. Congratulations, Fetalunga Junior Ponga, running off his fullback and running all the way to the in goal.
Well, isn't it amazing? Ponga could have scored only a couple of minutes ago. He put the ball down through a bad pass, but Tedesco, the fast man, out of dummy half, the footwork, straight through the middle. And well done there by the young fella. Ponga supports, and away he went. Left-hand carry, sprints away. Gee, it's been you score, we score. Now it's the Roosters again. Tedesco in outstanding form.
Blocker a moment ago, he put a pass down that would have seen him score with the line wide open. There was no way he was dropping that one.
Yeah, didn't he take off too? Good support play too. He played out in that left wing, so if you have a look at the break made by Tedesco, it's in the middle third of the field, the dummy half run. Just great anticipation from this young kid. Looking to Tedesco to make the break, and away he went.
Playing for North Sydney, a feeder club to the Roosters in the New South Wales Cup. Ponga has played 11 games this season and scored 14 tries. So he leads the New South Wales Cup try scoring. Trent Robinson has noticed that and said, come and play on a wing for us. Taking the role from Jackson Barlaw, and over he goes for his first NRL try as a Rooster. Scored a try on debut for the Tigers against Brisbane. And now we see Swali'i convert, and it's locked up at 18 again.
What about the captain's knock from James Tedesco? He is a man on a mission in this game, but Junior Ponga has been knocking on the door of an NRL call-up for quite a few weeks. He's been absolutely carving up on the wing for the North Sydney Bears and has come in, and this is just his 5th NRL game, but at 27 years old, he's got a lot of rugby league under his belt, a total of 92 games across New South Wales Cup and Queensland Cup, and this is a well-deserved opportunity, and he is making the most of it.
Absolutely, Darcy, and back to the start of your chat there, James Tedesco, 14 runs, 125 metres, 7 tackle busts, 2 tries himself, now a try assist. So he having a role in every try scored by the Roosters. Billy Smith holding his nerve there, making the catch from the kickoff. And now it's put down by Crichton. The ball for Corey Waddell, who charges inside the 10. The alarm goes off again for the Roosters. How a mistake changes things. Moran with Turpin around his ankle. Behind Pangai Jr., it's Burton dummying. He runs at that time and has the ball wrapped up by Nat Butcher. Edwards showed it to Pangai Jr. They go through the hands. Waddell on for Moran. He takes tackle 3. Oluwapu. Lindsay Collins makes sure the 18-year-old doesn't get away. Waddell, a pass that looked dangerous. It had intercept written all over it. It falls instead for Alamotti. His offload looking for Addo-Carr was touched by the Roosters, so Canterbury will get the ball back.
Yeah, I get the ball back too. Just a little bit too excited there. He's got to try and build pressure, but they're lucky now. They get the ball back. The Bulldogs in the middle of the park. They'll play the ball. Just got to be patient here.
Waddell. The completions. Canterbury nearly perfect. And the Roosters up on what they've been giving us so far this season. Here's Burton to Preston. Again held by Allen. Pangai Jr. with the leg drive, attracting 3 defenders. Still he stays on his feet. Edwards long out of dummy half through Burton. Oluwapu at the line. Ockenbaugh. Jaden Ockenbaugh. Keary had hold down low. Oluwapu. Now Burton through the line. At an angle. Here comes the Fox. Addo-Carr gets number 2. Burton and Addo-Carr, the combination reunited, and the Dogs profit.
Well, what about the speed of Addo-Carr? If you have a look at it from the standing start, how far back he is, albeit the Roosters had to turn around and chase. He came from nowhere, Addo-Carr. Let's have a look where he starts here. He's on the 20-metre line. He's got to cover some ground. It's a beautiful kick. The Roosters had to turn around and chase Addo-Carr on the run. It's unbelievable speed. Look at the bounce. Beautiful one. Addo-Carr in again.
Try confirmed, the kick perfect. And when you've got a flyer like Josh Addo-Carr, that's a live ball for a long, long time.
Amazing where he started from, Matty, that wide shot. Just the speed.
Adokar, he goes past Jake Averillo to the top of their try-scoring tally this season. Game number 8 this year.
Well, it's been a shootout, hasn't it, from Tedesco and Adokar. Tedesco over the Roosters, Adokar. A couple of tries for the Dogs. Backing up from Origin.
The Roosters, their 8th error of the game, proved to be a costly one. Look at this conversion attempt from Matt Burton, but take your mind back to what happened after the Ponga try, running off Tedesco. 24-18, a converted try, the difference. They just levelled it up, the Sydney Roosters. The Bulldogs with the kickoff, and then Angus Crichton comes forward, loses the ball. Waddell picks it up, and a couple of moments later, there's this for Canterbury.
Shot out of a gun, Adokar. Look at him. The combination between those two guys is building. Burton with the kick in behind, perfectly weighted. They were the Kangaroos together last year.
8 errors from the Roosters block, only 2 from the Dogs. Canterbury's discipline solid in this one. Tavita Pangai Jr. building a big game indeed.
It's amazing, isn't it? 26 from 27, the Dogs. Only the 1 error.
Pangai Jr. 17 carries now for more than 140 run metres. Straight after this game, the Cowboys and the Storm. A rare Sunday afternoon slot for North Queensland. Before we go to Penrith, the Panthers. How many of their Origin stars back up against St George Illawarra, who confirmed yesterday Ben Hunt was fine after Origin and will play.
Doesn't surprise me. What a competitor.
So technically that's first against last coming into round 14. Penrith against St George Illawarra, the final game of round 14. What sort of end does a rotten week have for St George Illawarra? The kick from Canterbury, down for James Tedesco. And is it Teddy pulling this game out of the fire? Given his 2 tries and try assists so far, he's the leading light. Slip at the line by the Roosters, just a few metres into Canterbury territory. It was Ponga going over, Billy Smith, flamboyant dummy and run. Can't get past Waddell. Turpin. Now Joey Manu across the ground. Here's Keary, Tedesco, under pressure. Blake Wilson coming in quickly, cutting off any option on the outside and herding him back infield. Nice work, Wilson. Keary cross the ground out towards Adokar. It's out towards the grandstand. It almost landed in the front row. Out on the fallers, Khaled Rajab, the 21-year-old Bankstown Sports Junior, makes his NRL debut. Doesn't his family and group of friends here today love this?
Yeah, what a great effort from the young fella to come on and make his debut, especially in a game so tight as this one. Bulldogs in front. And Keary comes away with that kick, crossfield kick, goes out on the full. Goes with the ball again.
He's come through the grades at Canterbury, a fleet captain, a New South Wales Cup grand finalist last year, a Lebanon World Cup representative last year, and there's his first run in the top grade. Congratulations, Khaled Rajab.
What about that? His first run, he won in the rear of Hargreaves. You'll remember that for a long, long time.
Bit like Reece Walsh running straight at Payne Haas on Wednesday night, first carry.
Oh, I couldn't believe it. That showed he was straight into the game, didn't it? No easing your way in there for Reece Walsh in that Origin.
Tough, brave option there from Rajab as Burton gets a floating bomb. Good luck catching this, Tedesco. He ends up on all fours but makes the catch. Well, that's one of those rotten floaters that causes opposition fullbacks nightmares, Blocker.
Yeah, he does it. Shelling peas there.
Now the ball free. The ball came out. Cleaned up by
Bulldog
Oluwapu.
knock on.
What's Ashley Klein going to rule here?
Okay, it's a Bulldogs knock on. The ruling is a Bulldogs knock on.
They're saying that the Bulldogs stripped at the ball there, and the ball's gone forward. They're going to challenge. He's saying he didn't touch it.
All right. Tackle 1, we have a captain's challenge from the Bulldogs disputing the decision of a knock on.
Oluwapu it is there. It said the challenge.
Over to Matt Noyen in the bunker. Joseph Swali'i with the carry. And
it's a loose carry.
This might be a good challenge by Canterbury.
Canterbury will win
Just
this
looking
challenge.
to see if there's any knock on here by the Roosters. Yep.
It's a knock on by the Roosters, all right. On 2 counts.
Does it brush? Are they going to rule it brushes the arm of Oluwapu after it's lost backwards by Swali'i? Oh, I'm not convinced it's even touched his arm, Steve.
Just looking to see which direction the ball travels. There's a fumble there by Joseph Swali'i. Just looking to see if there's a knock on in that.
Well, it's a loose carry, isn't it?
So, loose carry by Joseph Swali'i. And then has it floated into the body of Oluwapu.
Joseph Swali'i knocks the ball on first when he's fumbling the ball. It then goes into the Bulldogs and they knock the ball on.
Okay, so
the challenge by the Bulldogs is successful.
A successful challenge by Canterbury because
Okay, so it's a double knock on.
the first
one off the
infringement
Roosters.
was a knock on by Joseph Swali'i. They're down by 6 points, and Canterbury is about to have a set in perfect position here.
We saw last time after they made a fumble from Angus Crichton after they dropped the ball, the Bulldogs were good enough to score. So, similar situation here. They get the ball back.
Rajab through the hands out to Amarillo, who runs into Smith and is cartwheeled to ground. Wilson at dummy half. Ockenball. Jaden Ockenball attracts 4 defenders. Keary, Egan Butcher, Maria Hargreaves, the last men up. Waddell. Here's Burton showing it once at the line. He takes the tackle. Nat Butcher, the man to get him. Alamotti long, Oluwapu. All the options dried up for Oluwapu, and now he makes a mistake. The man who played a key role in winning possession now gives it back to the Roosters.
I wonder if they'll challenge this one. There was a hand on the ball as he's trying to play it.
Well, judging by the look on the faces, no.
Wouldn't challenge that one.
Put the ball on the ground awkwardly, it rolled awkwardly, and then his feet didn't play the ball properly. So into the final 20 minutes here, a reminder that straight after this game, North Queensland against Melbourne, and the Cowboys need a win at home. Then Penrith against St George Illawarra. Your third game this evening on Fox League. Billy Smith. Maria Hargreaves, and they raced up quickly on the veteran Roosters enforcer. Plenty of Bulldogs looking for collision there. Lindsay Collins. Greeted by Preston, Waddell and Edwards. Tupanua likewise had Ockenball up quickly. There's the other debutant, Sandon Smith, a local junior, a product of the Kincumber Colts. What a highlight to make your debut at home.
Gee, that was a great set defensively there from the Bulldogs. They've been disappointed with their play the ball indiscretion up the other end. And they burn up in defence there.
Now a penalty to Canterbury. Crusher tackle is the call from Ashley Klein.
Blake Wilson, gee, he cops some punishment, doesn't he? Week in and week out. Shouldn't laugh.
Welcome to the world of rugby league, Blocky. Sandon Smith played with the Roosters in North Sydney in New South Wales Cup, both feeder clubs to the Roosters NRL, a product of the Central Coast pathway that the Roosters have established. And now another penalty and a bit of a flare-up here.
Billy, come on, go, go. Okay. Let's go.
So the penalty for high contact, here it is. There's the debutant.
It's an easy way to get up the other end of the field, isn't it?
Billy Smith very high in the tackle. That replay didn't really illustrate the high contact identified by Ash Klein. But right now, all the Roosters need to worry about is keeping the Bulldogs from building on this 6-point lead. 16 minutes left. Waddell. Oluwapu. Burton goes straight to Preston. Well handled, Lindsay Collins. Wrapping up ball, player, and stopping them right there and then. Oluwapu. Again, it's Waddell. Big afternoon for Corey. Up over 120 run metres off the bench. Burton takes the line on. Takes the tackle from Smith. And the kick here from Perham into the legs of the Roosters. Nat Butcher comes away. He looked for a speedster, couldn't find one, and takes the tackle instead. Now Manu.
Yeah, I don't think they're the go, are they? Crossfield grubbers. You've got to straighten up. Try and kick in between players, not across them. Too easy to clean up there for the Roosters.
And now a penalty in favour of the team in possession. So the Roosters get 3 metres here. An infringement in the ruck from the Bulldogs.
You look to your more experienced players now. Will it be Keary or will it be Tedesco? A long way to go in this game.
They certainly have several options in that regard. Experienced players, including this man, Waria Hargreaves to Keary. Smith for Manu. That's a good tackle. One-on-one. Curtis Moran conceding some size, but not effort there. Now Tedesco on for Egan Butcher. He had Averillo down low. Sandon Smith, Tupanua, now Keary. 10 metres out, he runs, Luke. And then he's stopped by Preston. Burton goes in over the top. Last play, the kick from Smith, tried to go through the line. They've knocked it on. Moran just bobbling off the hand and forward. I'll have to defend again here.
Well, you've got to feel for him here, Moran. He's put himself in the picture a lot of times. Throws out the left hand, the ball goes forward. Can they hang on? Desperation now from the Bulldogs on goal defence. Are they good enough to hang on?
Where do you fancy the Roosters' best chance as blocker?
I think it's Tedesco just bobbing up, making the extra man. You'll see him on both sides of the field here, I reckon.
Joey Manu. The fresh-faced Sandon Smith at dummy half for Waria Hargreaves. Couldn't free the arm from Moran to offload. Smith to Keary. And now Nat Butcher really steaming onto the ball, takes a good tackle from Alamotti and Burton. Here's Tedesco. Tedesco to Allen, to Swali'i. There's enough room for Joseph, who slides in, improves the position, and they'll kick to lock it up again.
Well, I wanted to see Tedesco find a pass. That was brilliant. They got the numbers down the short side. The catch and pass on the outside. Swali'i gets a try, but Tedesco wants his hands on the ball.
So Paul Alamotti making that tackle and looking a little stunned. They go away from him. Simple through the hands, and there's an extra man in Joseph Swali'i.
He's got a bit of skill, hasn't he, Corey Allen? We saw him a little bit earlier with the kick-in field for a try for the Roosters. This time it was a catch and pass. Tedesco demanding. He gets a handle on the ball. He just got it for numbers. Roosters hit back again.
Josh Addo-Carr was appealing to the referee about something while the Roosters were playing and scoring. Joseph Suaalii gets his first try, Steve, since round 1. Keep your eye on Josh Addo-Carr here. He's pointing at Paul Alamotti and spotting that. The Roosters go away, and there's the extra man, the opening.
And it was straight away where he was supposed to be, too, defending. Addo-Carr caught in field.
And it's funny, Suaalii, a prolific scorer as a winger. They've dried up somewhat in the centres, and there he was playing on the wing and scoring again. But that is in the books. And now the 19-year-old has an important conversion attempt. It's a tricky one. 15 in from the western sideline to level us up for the 3rd time today. It's been 12 all, it's been 18 all, and now it's 24 all. Well, Origin, the first game has come in both the men and the women. We're only 3 weeks away from game 2. Get your tickets, nrl.com/tickets, and enjoy the Origin series like the fans that are here enjoying this NRL blocker. A good crowd. Why haven't we played more games in Gosford this season? This is the first on a glorious afternoon in a great atmosphere.
Yeah, we've got a full house here too. What a great rugby league ground it is. The fans right next to the action. And this one's going to go right down to the wire.
He's the try scorer. In fact, one of the try scorers today in Ponga. How about the debutants? The clubs craving a victory. They're out there for game 1, and it's 24 all. Khaled Rajab for Canterbury, Sandon Smith for the Roosters.
I thought you lost that into their player.
A little bit unlucky there, Big Jared. I think it might have been a second effort play. They're going to challenge it too, the Roosters. I think you'll find that it was Max King coming over to the top for the second grab there.
Is this more out of desperation with 10 and a bit to play at 24 all? Or do the Roosters genuinely believe Ash Klein has got this wrong?
Well, just have a look how late King is here.
Ruled lost by Waria Hargreaves into the Bulldogs. Burton's hand on the ball.
I reckon he's had a play at that, Burton. I think the Roosters will win this call.
Just look in all available angles.
They rule this a stripping motion or an attempt to knock the ball free.
He's pretty sneaky, but I reckon he's had his hand on the ball there.
I think you're right, Stephen. I think there's enough evidence that there's pressure applied to the ball in the attempt to strip the ball with more than one in the tackle.
I thought it might have been for King coming in real late
Matt
here.
Burton has his hand on the ball.
And
he then flicks his wrist and pushes the ball out of the grasp of Gerard Hargreaves. The challenge by the Roosters is successful.
He might be sneaky, blocker, but he hasn't beaten the bunker.
Yeah, he hasn't got away with it. Just tried to get away with that sneaky one there. Big Jared knew exactly what to do. They have a shot here. What are they going to do here? Yes,
they are.
Shot.
They are.
What's that, about 42 out, you reckon, Matt?
Yep.
The big thing with this sort of long conversions like this, having a penalty goal, you've got to make sure you'll be able to kick the ball dead in goal. If you miss, you've got to make sure you can kick it long enough.
Well, Joseph Suaalii, 4 from 4 today, which means he's 16 from 18 this season, up near 90%.
I wonder if you'll sneak down just a couple of centimetres there. Yes.
Sam Walker did most of the kicking to start the season before being dropped and injuring his knee. But Joseph Suaalii is proving a very handy backup. In the middle of the ground, he's 8 from 8. From this position, he's 1 from 1 this season. His only misses have been from the extreme edges, the two sidelines. But the question here is distance. 42 metres.
I love it when they back themselves like this.
The Roosters, do they lead for the first time today? He didn't get it at all. And judging by that roar, there is a big contingent of Bulldogs fans here.
Yeah, you've got to make sure, as I said, you're going to miss. You've got to make sure you can kick it dead in goal to get the ball back.
Haven't led at any stage. It's been the Bulldogs in front 3 times. And now Wilson looks to go down the sideline. Smith is there. Ponga is there. Keary gets there. Oluwapu. And here's another effort play from Corey Waddell. Oluwapu to Burton under pressure. Manu was up clear quickly. It comes off his arm.
Forward, yes. Okay, thank you.
And they get another
That's
zero play there. Burton to Ockenbaugh. Burton across the ground. That's knocked on. Perham couldn't get there in time. The ball delivered just in front of him and low. And what promised a lot delivers little. The Roosters get the ball back.
I thought they were a little bit too far behind the line there. Push up there in the space. Ball just dropped on him. It wasn't the greatest of passes there from Burton, but their attack was a little bit too deep that time.
We are approaching field goal situation where Matt Burton has kicked 3 in his career, Keary 5, and those two men 1 each this season. Is Burton the man to deliver 1 for the Dogs, or Keary 1 for the Roosters, should that need arise? Here's Lindsay Collins looking to put them in position to score a try, consider a penalty goal, or take the one. Tupanua looking for Tedesco through the middle. Now they make an error.
Shot clock on, where do you want it?
So we are going down to the wire in Gosford. 2 games to follow, then Sunday night with Matty Johns. What a day on Fox League. I'm looking forward to tonight's guests. A couple of Tigers blocker, John Bateman, Alex Twal. As you look at the inside ball from the Roosters, come unstuck.
Yeah, 12 still yet to score a try, is that right?
It is.
In his career.
We're still waiting.
A bit of a local hero in Tiger Town, and also John Bateman, of course.
Involved in that crazy game to open the round on Friday night in Campbelltown. Maria Hargreaves.
This is where you earn your money as a front rower, setting up for the field goal here. Charging down the middle.
Here's Egan Butcher. Is it this set? Keary waits, 24 metres out, right in front. Cool hand Luke knocks one over, and the Roosters are in front for the first time.
Yeah, you're right. There was no real chase early in the tackle count there. They got in perfect position. Just that effort play, just to try and put the pressure on the kicker. It was perfectly hit, wasn't it?
Executed perfectly, struck brilliantly. A cool head on the man under the headgear. Keary lands his second one-pointer of the season and the 6th of his career. How valuable will it be as we go inside the final 5? Collins now. The Roosters, they've been challenged big time this afternoon. Can they tuck it away? Here's Maria Hargreaves. That carry taking him up above 100 metres today. There's a bit of go forward in this set. Sandon Smith.
Yeah, it wasn't only a great carry from Maria Hargreaves there, but it was a play the ball. quick play the ball straight away on the front foot, the Roosters.
Now Keary out towards Addo-Carr, who calls Alamonte out of it. Swaliti goes up, still the last. Manu smothered by Preston. So Canterbury get the ball, but they're still 30 metres away from halfway.
Over there. Okay, nice crap.
Is there a twist in the tail here? 4 minutes left. A rugby league eternity for Canterbury to claw back.
They've just got to find their way out the other end too. It's been a hell of a battle too. Remember, the Dogs have done this without Reid Marnie.
Munster warming up in North Queensland, backing up from his brilliance in Origin 1 to play with Melbourne against North Queensland next. Burton, Khaled Raja, quick hands, likewise Hayes Perham. Now there's some room for Averillo, they've brought it back. They've called it forward, have they?
I reckon he would have scored there. Averillo, we know what sort of speed he's got. Gee, they called it pretty quickly. I think that came from the touchy.
Circumstances of the game.
His double at Wynn Stadium against the Dragons springs to mind. It's that one there they've called forward. And, Steve Roach.
Mate,
What do you think?
Mate, I'll say forward. I think they've got it right there. Just float. I think it's forward.
Well, Jake Averillo is a speed merchant.
He was
Had
away.
that been allowed to continue, was he going to be covered? That blinding speed against the Dragons at Wynn Stadium, was he about to burst clear again? All irrelevant as they rule the pass from Hayes Perham forward. So Billy Smith, 3 and a bit minutes to play. The Roosters up by 1. Now Nat Butcher. They're trying to make it 4 straight wins in Gosford, the Roosters. Keary to Aria Hargreaves. Trying to snap this 3-game losing streak. And silence some of the critics. Manu, dummies. And rolls into a tackle from Morin. Sandon Smith to Keary, shows it to Collins. Instead, it's Egan Butcher. And around his legs, Max King is there.
Okay, Harrison, you need to leave the field. Head injury assessment.
Harrison
Last
Edwards,
tackle,
so
Egan.
they've already lost Reid Marnie, failed HIA. Now his replacement in that dummy half roll. Harrison Edwards called off by the bunker.
Yeah, I'm waiting for
And
him.
they'll send Carl Oluwapu hurrying on.
I'm going to wait for him, so don't worry.
And Carl Oluwapu, you heard in the effects, being advised, go to hooker, Carl.
It's the last tackle, guys.
Last play for the Roosters. Sandon Smith, Keary, Tedesco. Tedesco tackled with the ball. They change it over. 2.5 minutes to play. The collision there. That's how much the Roosters want to keep the Bulldogs at this end of the field. Burton. The Bulldogs dropped 5 of 6 before scraping home against the Gold Coast. Can they scrape home against the Roosters late? Burton looks to Addo-Carr on the left-hand side, but goes inside to King. Two plays left in this set. They'll even get the ball back. If they can't do something on this final play. Oluwapu at dummy half. He goes to Burton, and Burton kicks it. A Hail Mary effort that skews off the foot out towards a wing. It bounces. Swaliti gets it. And now the Roosters, with 1:20 to play, have the ball in hand and a 1-point lead.
Yeah, Josh Addo-Carr caught him forward there. He thought he was taken out. He's saying to the referee, I was taken out. They didn't, he just took no notice of him. The Roosters should really wind this down now. They might get the ball back, the Dogs, for 1 or 2 tackles, but that'll be it. They'll be on their own goal line.
Inside the final minute, Canterbury-Hargreaves will take tackle 4. Lindsay Collins, it goes across the face of Lindsay to Nat Butcher. So the final play here, Keary, low and long, in behind Addo-Carr, into the in-goal. Hayes Perham lets it roll. So they're back to the 20 for 3. Then there are 30 seconds for a Bulldogs miracle. They kick, looking for a flying Bulldog to come screaming through. I don't know whether they were on the same page.
Well, I don't know whether he should have kicked it there. Addo-Carr's the speedster. Someone should be kicking for him.
Addo-Carr kicked, looking for a flyer. The only thing was the flyer hadn't got to the men that needed to hear it. Time ticks down, and the Bulldogs, bravely today, have come back from 12-0 down early. They've stared a deficit in the face 3 times. They've scored 4 tries each, and they've won it on the back of a Luke Keary field goal late. Roosters 25 back into the winner's circle against Canterbury 24.